Every time you decide to lose weight, you go all in. Meal prepping, daily workouts, trying to be perfect, never missing a day. And that is exactly why you keep starting over. Because the problem isn't that you're not motivated. The problem is that you're using the same overachieving strategy that has helped you succeed in your career, in academics, and in other areas of your life. And you're applying this exact same methodology to your weight loss journey. And your body and your actual life can't keep up with the 0 to 100. So today, I want to show you what I call the weight loss extremism trap, why high achieving moms get caught in it, and what you need to change so you can finally stop starting over. I've been coaching high achieving career moms for almost 14 years, and I see this pattern over and over and over again. I hear it on every single consultation call all the time. The woman will tell me, oh, my problem is that I'm just not consistent. My problem is that I'm just not motivated. But when we dig deeper on those calls, we usually uncover that it's something very different that's causing the lack of consistency. The lack of consistency is a symptom, surface level. What's causing it is something different. It's the pattern and the fact that these women are always going all in, and then on the flip side, they're either all in or they're all out. And that's actually a very different problem than simply saying it's a lack of consistency. Because once you understand that pattern, you can actually start changing it so that you lose the belly, you lose the weight for good. Here's where most high achieving women and career moms get stuck. They approach weight loss the same way that they've approached everything else that they've succeeded at. It's always go all in. Think about all your academic achievements, promotions, your career. It's go all in, push, 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 work harder no matter what, be super disciplined, super committed no matter what goes on. Don't miss a day. Do everything that you're supposed to do plus some. And honestly, that's the strategy that probably worked for you somewhere else. Career, academics, degrees. It may have helped you get the degree, get that master's while you're working a full-time job. It may have helped you climb up the ladder and get that promotion that people swore up and down you would never get. Maybe it's helped you build and launch and build the business and grow it from 0 to 6 figures while working and raising your children. And that's beautiful. And you end up being that woman that everybody around you knows they can count on, they rely on, they can depend on. So when you decide, okay, this is it, I'm fed up, I'm done. I'm finally taking back control over my health and I'm going to go and lose this weight. What does your brain do? Your brain reaches for the strategy that it is familiar with, for the strategy that it already knows has worked for everything else, for every other goal that you set. And that turns into what? It translates into more effort, more rules, more restrictions, more workouts, longer workouts, more perfection. And for a little while it works. For a little while it feels amazing. For a little while you feel accomplished because you're all in, you're locked in, as they say, and you're checking off all the boxes. High achieving moms, career moms love checking off boxes. And so you feel like, or you're fooling yourself into thinking, oh, this time it's going to be different. But here's the problem. You haven't built a plan that you can live by or live with. You've built a plan that you can survive temporarily, stick with for 21 days, maybe 60 days. Hell, if you're really into it, maybe 6 months. But those two things are not the same, right? There's the plan that you can live with for the rest of your life. That's a lifestyle change. And then there's a plan that you can only survive temporarily. I've seen this pattern for literally going on 14 years. And on consultation calls, those moms will often tell me they've fallen off because they're not consistent. But when we unpack what actually happened, it was never that they didn't care or that they were lazy or that they weren't committed enough or not serious enough. It was always, ultimately, the root was that they were always going from 0 to 100. So basically from doing absolutely nothing and not having anything dialed in to having some kind of emotional trigger such as, oh my gosh, I have to be at so-and-so's wedding and I went in my closet and I tried on all my dresses and guess what? Nothing fits. So now I have to go up a size and I have to go to Dillard's and go up a size and I'm so embarrassed. I'm so ashamed. I can't believe it. How did I get here? How did I let myself go like this? That's the emotional trigger. Now the decision comes, I'm getting serious. I'm getting serious. And so here I am, here you are, falling for the weight loss extremism trap once again, because now you're going from nothing to you've been completely emotionally triggered to building this plan or signing up for this diet or whatever crazy thing that is not sustainable and that you cannot make a lifestyle out of. And so you go from 0 to 100 like you've done a million times before. And eventually something happens. Busy work day that threw you off, high stress levels, kids got sick, maybe you caught COVID. You've been traveling, we're coming out of summer, plenty of trips, stressful week, life, just doing what life does. And suddenly, that plan that required you to be perfect, guess what? Isn't so possible anymore. It doesn't seem so realistic anymore. So what happens? Well, you miss one workout. You don't meal prep. And you're stressed and you're on the road. So guess what? You accidentally end up at Taco Bell. You tear up the Taco Bell and then you're like, oh my gosh, that was not part of the plan. That was not on my plan. And now you start thinking, okay, maybe I'm not made up for this. Maybe I'm not cut up for this. Maybe I should just throw it all out, down the drain. I'm back at square one. I said I wasn't going to do this. And I promised myself that this time was gonna be it, but here I am repeating the same pattern. Instead of thinking, okay, that was one day, your brain says, well, I've already messed up. Might as well keep messing up on purpose. Complete self-sabotage. And now you're completely checked out. That's the weight loss extremism trap. You go all in, you burn yourself out, then you turn around and feel like you failed, and eventually, after a lot of self-sabotage, eventually, once the next emotional trigger comes around, then you start over and you go all in again. I literally just had a conversation with a lady whose sister passed away a couple months ago, and that was her emotional trigger to get back serious about her health, her weight loss, and her fitness journey. And when we dove deeper and discussed what does that mean to get back on this journey, everything that she described to me was exactly what the weight loss extremism trap is all about. It was, I'm going all in. I'm going from having done nothing for months and years to I'm going all in. And then guess what? The cycle repeats itself. But here's the part that I really want you to hear. Life isn't always what's throwing you off or derailing you from your weight loss journey. Sometimes it's the plan that you came up with for your life. Because you can't control how your week is going to go. You can't control a million things that are going to be thrown at you because life is full of surprises. But you can't stop expecting yourself to do everything perfectly when life does get busy. When you start making that shift, that's where things start to actually change for better. This is the part that can be a little uncomfortable because your overachieving, high achieving mindset is not necessarily a bad thing. Let's give you credit. It's probably one of the reasons why you're so successful. It's thanks to that mindset. The problem is that you're treating weight loss like your career. You're treating weight loss like the next degree that you're pursuing. You think if I just work harder, I'll just get better results. Think about it. If I just work hard on the job, I'm going to get the raise. If I just work harder on the job, I'm more likely to get the promotion. If I just work harder when it comes to my quiz, if I just study harder for my quizzes and my exams and whatever else, then guess what? I'm just going to get better grades. But weight loss is not an exam that you can cram for. It's not a project that you can finish. And it's definitely not something where you get extra credit for suffering more or putting in more reps. You have to live this. You have to live this. And that's where the mindset shift comes in. When I work with my clients, one of the first things we want to uncover is this pattern. Because once you can actually see it, once you can actually see this pattern for yourself, you can no longer unsee it. Now you start noticing, wait, every time I decide to lose weight, I completely overhaul my life. Every time I'm trying to be perfect. I'm trying to turn myself into somebody overnight that I'm not. Every time I miss something, I feel like I'm failing and like I need to punish myself for failing. That awareness is a game changer. That awareness is huge because now you're not just saying, I need to be more consistent. You're asking a much better question. And by the way, if you want better results, ask yourself better quality questions. It leads to better quality answers, which leads to better quality results. So a much better question here is, why do I keep making consistency so difficult? Why do I keep making consistency so difficult? And that's where the work really begins. We work on changing the way you think about this journey. We work on letting go of the idea that perfection is even a requirement. We work on giving yourself grace. And most importantly, we stop giving your overachieving brain and mindset another opportunity to turn weight loss into one of your extreme, high-achieving projects that you need to crush. You don't need another project. You need something that you can actually live with and live by. And listen, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, okay, I'm absolutely guilty of this, sounds just like me, I want you to come join my free weight loss community. This is a space for women who are done with the all or nothing approach and want to learn how to create something that's actually sustainable. You can find the link below in the description box, but stay with me because I want to show you what this looks like in real life. Because I don't want you to hear the term micro habits and think I'm just telling you to drink more water and call it a day. There's a bigger reason we're doing this. When you spent years going all in, one of the most important things you can learn is how to stop going all in. It sounds self-explanatory, but this is important. That's why I put so much emphasis on what I call micro habits with my clients. A micro habit, kind of like the term indicates, is intentionally tiny. It's intentionally so small that you can only be consistent with it. It's small enough that you can do it every single day, even when you're busy, even when you're emotional, even when you're stressed, even with whatever's going on. Because the goal isn't to create the most impressive plan. The goal is to create a plan you can actually repeat. A plan that is always repeatable no matter what goes on in your life around you. For example, instead of deciding that you're suddenly going to overhaul your entire diet, your workouts, your sleep, and your morning routine, you might start with one small action. 8 ounces of water when you first wake up. 30 grams of protein in the morning instead of skipping breakfast. Watching your favorite show while walking on your walking pad instead of watching it while sitting on the couch. Adding vegetables to every single meal. Or if you already do that, doubling up on your vegetable servings at every meal. These things are not extreme. They don't look extreme. They're not extreme, but that's exactly the point. Because we're not trying to prove how hard you can work at this, because you have nothing to prove, by the way. We're trying to teach your brain something new. Oh, I can show up for myself consistently without having to be perfect, without having to punish myself, without having to do the most. And every time you follow through on one of those small commitments, you build trust with yourself and within yourself. That's different from the temporary confidence, because it's temporary confidence, honey, that you're getting every single time you go all in and you're checking off your boxes. That's temporary confidence. When you're going all in, it says, look what I can do for 3 weeks. Look what I can handle. Look how badly I can punish myself. Look how harsh I can be and sustain for X amount of weeks. But consistency with those micro habits signals something else. It's like, look what I can keep doing. Look what I can keep doing. And even, oh wow, I can actually see myself doing this for the rest of my life. That's what matters here. Now you might be thinking, okay, but can something that small really make a difference? Yeah, and I'm about to give you an example. So I had a client named Leslie who came into this with the same desire that so many other women have that I coach. She wanted to lose the weight. She wanted to see a difference around her midsection. She wanted to get rid of the belly fat. She wanted more energy. She felt so drained, exhausted, tired every single day, no matter how much she slept. And she wanted to feel better about herself and be able to look in the mirror and actually love the reflection, like the reflection, not feeling grossed out. But instead of putting her on another extreme plan, we focused on small, intentional changes. 4 things specifically. 1, she started getting 30 grams of protein in the morning instead of skipping breakfast. Number 2, when she made her daily Starbucks run, because there was no need to take it away, she grabbed a venti cup of water with every Starbucks run. That now increased her daily water intake by 20 ounces. Number 3, she added her Rise morning routine. If you didn't see that, make sure that you watch that video and I'll repost it in the description box where I break it down. But she started her mornings with my Rise morning routine, which set her up for success for the rest of the day. Number 4, she started adding vegetables, specifically green leafy vegetables for more fiber to every single meal. That's it. Those are the 4 biggest micro changes that we made with Leslie. And in the first 3 weeks inside of my coaching program, she lost 9 pounds from doing that. She saw a significant reduction in her belly fat, and she experienced a significant boost in her energy levels. And that gave her a boost of confidence as a result. A boost of confidence that, oh, I can do this. Oh, wow, this is a lot simpler than what I've done in the past. Oh, I could actually see myself doing this long term. Maybe I have finally figured it out. Now, I'm not telling you that you should expect the exact same results from those exact same habits, because I don't really know what your current starting point is and where you're at, right? And that's not the point. The point is that she didn't need to completely overhaul her life and to start making real progress. She needed to stop treating weight loss like it's some kind of extreme challenge. And so this is what I want you to understand. Your goal isn't to become the woman who can follow the most restrictive plan, who can see how many workouts you can cram into a week, or prove that you're more perfect than the next one. Your goal is to become the woman who consistently shows up for herself. When life gets busy, when the week doesn't go according to plan, when your motivation isn't all that, when sustained, and because that is, by the way, when motivation isn't all that, we all experience dips in motivation. But this is where and how you build sustainability. Not when everything is going perfectly and is going according to plan and is going your way. Actually, it's when it isn't. That's why I say consistency beats intensity every single time. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Write that down somewhere. You don't need another extreme plan, but you need to stop chasing perfection and start building habits that are small enough so that you can stick with them forever, no matter the circumstances. So if you've been telling yourself, I'm just not consistent, that's my issue. It's because I'm not consistent that I'm not getting the results. I want you to pause before you make that an identity statement. Oh, I'm just not a consistent person. Let's pause. Let's not make this your identity statement, because maybe it's not that you're inconsistent, or maybe you're seeing the inconsistency as a symptom because you're just constantly trying to do entirely too much. And that's different. Maybe you've been taking the overachieving mindset that helped you win in other areas of your life, and you're applying it to something that requires repetition, flexibility, grace. That's the weight loss extremism trap. Go all in, burn out, fall off, blame yourself, self-sabotage, and then start over. And we need to break that cycle, because getting healthier isn't about what you can force yourself to do for just a few weeks. It's about what you can keep doing long enough for it to become your life. And if you want support breaking that cycle, come join my free weight loss community. The link is below in the description box. And if you've been wondering whether this approach can actually work for someone like you who wants significant weight loss, that's exactly what we're going to look at next. So make sure that you watch my next video, how my client lost 43 pounds by doing less, not more. Because now you know what's wrong. So the next question is, does the fix actually work? And that's what we're going to dive in next.